Hi there. Let me show you a little experiment with a knife. This was done by the magicians Nate Leipzig and another fellow named Max Bros, and they made a specialty of this sort of thing, and it has to do with human magnetism. Let me give it a try, okay? First we'll do it the old-fashioned way. Now, one of Leipzig's specialties, hanging off the finger. And now clinging to the hands. Let's see if we can do this. There we go, magnetism. You want to try this at home, even with 3 fingers. Well, good afternoon. Today we're going to discuss some of my favorite comedians, the Marx Brothers. We passed them up till now because I just didn't have time to get all this stuff together. But with my retirement money, I bought some new equipment, and so I've been able to edit and put together a little package for you I think you'll enjoy. And I've taken scenes out of several Marx Brothers movies. I have a list of them here, and I'm going to go over them one at a time. But first I want to mention the Marx Brothers to you and just who they were. These are the early Paramount films that began in 1929 and ran through the 1930s. And they're billed as the 4 Marx Brothers. So there's Harpo, Groucho, Chico, and Zeppo. Now Zeppo, supposedly named after a Zeppelin, was kind of a leading man kind of role. Harpo played the harp. That's where he got his name. He's the one that never speaks. Chico got his name from chasing chicks, and Groucho got his name from being, well, grouchy. So there were actually 5 Marx Brothers. They'd been in vaudeville with their parents. All of them had been in vaudeville, including Gummo. Gummo, so-called because of his gum shoes, was a theatrical agent and quite a successful one. And this goes back to before World War I. Now, World War I was from 1914 to 1918, with the United States entering in 1917 and fighting in 1918 as well. It was a terrible war. It was known as the Great War, and it produced a lot of disillusionment. Many, many, many were killed as Central Europe was totally engulfed in war. And we'll see the reflection of this in some of the Marx Brothers movies as we go on with our discussion. So the first movie that we have is Coconuts, and that was made in 1929. I put in an early room scene because it sort of is a build-up to some of the things that they do later. And this is a scene where people are sort of going in and out of doors in a coordinated and humorous way. And the second scene is one of my favorites in all the Marx Brothers movies, and that's the viaduct scene where Groucho tries to talk to Chico. And that's a very comical scene, and it kind of sets the stage for the byplay that he has with Chico throughout all the films. We see other scenes like this as things come along. And moving into the next film, 1930, I believe, is Animal Crackers, and here Groucho is introduced as Captain Spaulding. And I put in the musical number from that. This is where Groucho gets his name, his theme song. We'll play through that, and then we'll see some interplay with Margaret Dumont. Now, Margaret Dumont was this sort of stately, upper-class woman who is sort of horrified at all the antics of the Marx Brothers and doesn't know what to make of them. She appears in many of their films. Then we'll move to Monkey Business, a short deck chase scene, and then one with Harpo alone, and that is a Punch and Judy scene. Now, the Punch and Judy operator, who you never see, is a magician from Coney Island named Al Flosso. Then we get to Duck Soup. Many think this is the best of the Marx Brothers movies. I suppose it's my favorite. It's quite involved, and it's in a sense more intellectual. It's surrealistic. It's irreverent, and its subject is countries going to war for frivolous reasons. We see one of my favorite scenes, and this involves only Harpo and Chico and a man named Edgar Kennedy, who's a peanut vendor. And then we'll end up the series of clips with a famous mirror scene. So I hope you enjoy it. So let's get to the clips. Thanks. Bye.